All right, it's 8:30. This is a meeting for the Berne Nuisance Review Board. We have a quorum this morning, and in order the business meeting, our first item is approval of minutes from our July 15 meeting.
Mayor?
Yeah.
If I could, before we go into the order of business meeting and go through the approval of minutes and property review and new properties, there's enough new people here in the audience. I guess if it's okay, I'd just like to make a couple editorial comments before we get started. So appreciate everyone being here. Just to make sure that we're all on the same page as we start our discussions. The Nuisance Review Board was established 2 years ago. And this group that meets once a month is responsible for reviewing complaint forms that have been submitted to the city for consideration and to be addressed. So that's what this board, every member, has been established to do. So our job as individuals on the Nuisance Review Board is to sit in a meeting, kind of be the, I guess, mediators of neighborhood concerns and issues, and to review those, complaint forms that have been submitted. So that's what we've all been requested to do, this board, and that's what we're going to do this morning. We have, I would say, a record number of properties to review today. So this meeting's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take a little bit of patience. And what I hope we will do is that I hope we'll methodically and compassionately go through each of these properties, discuss them, and with discernment, come up with what the right recommendation as a nuisance review board would be. So that's kind of what I want to just throw out there to set the stage for the meeting, even before we get into any of the property reviews. So Mayor, one question I would have in addition before we get started, as we go through the properties, I think in the past, as we've gone through property by property, if there's anyone in attendance that has input on that property, I think it's fair for them to provide their input at that point in time while we're discussing it. Not after we've made a decision, while we're making the discussion, while we're having the dialogue. So that would be a suggestion I would have. I know with the last meeting, we did that with one of the properties and I thought it worked effectively. So anyways, that's my soapbox and my 2 cents before we get going. So thank you for listening.
Okay. So I don't think we approved the minutes.
No, I jumped in before that. I would make a motion, we approve the July 15th Berne Nuisance Review Board meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Cal. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next item on the agenda is property review. That is previous properties that have had complaints filed against them. And our first property is 753 North Jefferson Street. There are photos there from July and August.
So going back to the last meeting, I believe, which was on July the 15th, we just approved the meeting minutes. So at that meeting, we were going to send a grass and weed letter. And I believe we say in the review of properties documentation we have in front of us that was sent via certified mail on July the 16th. So my question, no one's currently living in that property. So where do we send it? Do we send the water bill to another address that
It goes to where their property taxes go. They're outside Decatur, in the country.
Okay. So that's where they get their water bill also, then I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where we would have sent the certified letter?
Mhm.
So do we know that they received it? Do we have?
Yeah, I've got the tracking number.
Okay, so they received it. And for the grass and weed letter, they were given the normal 10 days to remediate. And I don't know, in my opinion, it doesn't look like they've remediated.
Well, if that was sent mid-July, we're in mid-August now, and it's rained a lot. And I would say this looks pretty normal for being cut. And then we've received a lot of rain and because it might already grew a lot in this past week. So I don't know if you can say this is a month's worth of growth, or did they mow it and this is a couple weeks worth of growth?
Okay.
It's
So
hard for me to tell.
Yeah.
then from a process perspective, I mean, would we have checked them 10 days after they would have received the letter so that we know what it was on July the 26th?
Ron, is the owner Vicki Ellis?
Yeah.
I think you talked with her, you mentioned you talked with her a number of weeks ago.
She was at one of our meetings twice.
So she owns
Yes.
this letter,
She
owns
she
this
owns it.
property.
So to Chief Taylor's, point, I don't know whether it was in good shape 10 days after the certified letter arrived in July or not. So I guess we can't really say yes or no on that for sure.
I would think that, I would bet on it, that it was weeks before.
So what?
You handle it the way you think is best, but this has not just happened in the last 2 weeks.
What I would recommend, since we've been down this road with them before, that we send another grass and weed letter certified, and that we follow up at 10 days. And if it has not been remediated, then we take steps to remediate like we would normally do. And I guess the other thing I would recommend, when we add some sort of cover letter to these letters that we mail out, we seem to get better response because we tell them specifically what the issue is and the concern is. In the case of this one, they're not from Berne, they're not living in the property. So they need to make sure they're mowing when they're working on the property. When they come down to do their construction work, they need to mow, just like they were living in it. So that would be my motion. I think we need to send them another grass and weed letter. And we need to also include some sort of cover letter that, hey, you need to take care of your property.
What would
You're not living
be
here.
the time?
On a grass and weed letter, it's always, you got 10 days to remediate.
So we send out mowing letters that are 5 days.
Which I'm fine with 5 days.
So
I mean, because
I would say if it's just mowing, if it's over the 8 inches, normally we have police go out and measure. If it's over the 8 inches, we send a mowing letter. And then we follow up in 5. If they haven't mowed it, the city can either mow it or we can pay someone to.
And maybe
I'm
and
more-
maybe the reason why I wasn't checked up was it wasn't a mowing letter, it was a nuisance letter.
Yeah, and those we stay on top of and check up with, and then we invoice them for if we would do that.
I think that would be a better solution for this because it's a shorter time period. There's better follow-up or more follow-up. So I would alter my motion to sending a mowing letter by certified mail to the owner, and then follow up on it. And if it's not, remediate. The other things that we've talked to them about as far as keeping the yard and stuff cleaned up while they're working on the property. In the backyard, they're doing that. It's the front yard that is on Jefferson Street that just doesn't look very good. And it needs to be tended to better. And they don't live there, so they need to be more responsible on making it happen on a regular basis.
At the bottom of the pictures that went with the letter last time, we put grass seeds mowed, weeds on the entire property, both front yard, side yards, backyard, and behind the garage, all need trimmed. This was sent with the letter too.
Okay.
So, with the pictures.
And I'm okay sending the pictures with the pictures that we have with the letter. So I'll make that motion.
So, excuse me, so we're saying within 10 days, this has to be mowed?
5,
5 days. Perfect.
because we're doing a mowing letter
Not a nuisance.
versus a letter from the nuisance ordinance,
Okay,
where we've always used 10 days as the norm.
okay. Sounds
So
good.
it's actually a shorter time frame than we did last time.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next property is 306 Windridge. He was issued a $100 fine on July the 20th. And he stopped in and said that he couldn't pay the fine. So I said, well, it's up to you whether you pay it or not. He said, well, if I don't pay it, they'll issue a warrant for my arrest. And I said, well, I don't know if that exactly happens, but anyway, he just said he couldn't pay it. He's dealing with a lot of issues. His dad's sick. He's had multiple reasons for not being able to pay it. So I said, well, it's a fine that is due and you owe the fine, and he walked out. So
When was this, Greg?
it was,
When he came in?
It was the day the fine was due. He came in. It was right after Swiss days, that Monday,
yeah,
after Swiss
right.
days.
It was right after Swiss days.
So what follows this situation?
What I would like to interject, this property, even from our last meeting, if you look at the two pictures, Greg, I think you mentioned to him at one point in time, maybe getting just a little better organized with what you have on your front porch. And he definitely has attempted to do that. It's all kind of up by the front door where it used to be kind of all over the place. In the backyard, they have worked on some of the vegetation. I mean, hauling away some of the stuff that they've cut down would be helpful, but they've cut some stuff down. And if you remember right, they had several vehicles that it took a while for them to get removed. They did get removed. They had an unsafe vehicle sitting in front. It was up on jacks that we asked them to make safe and get remediated. They did that. So from where this was 6 months ago, they have made strides.
So what are you suggesting, Ron?
Yeah.
I'm suggesting at this point, I'm not sure what more we want to push for. I mean, I drove by this property last night and it's not half as bad as it was 6 months ago. So I'm not, I guess, would I like to see more progress? Yeah, but under the circumstances, I'm not sure what the next step would be.
How does the
The
ordinance,
fine is still there. The fine is still a record. We can turn that into the state, which means if there's a tax refund, we can attach that. But I think what you're saying is, other than that, still hanging out there, there's been progress.
so if there's no progress, then what's your next step?
If there isn't any progress, you can keep assessing fines that you may not collect right away.
At what point do we put a lien on the home?
We don't have that capability. But we do have a capability of attaching, like I said, through the state, we can attach tax refunds, those kind of things.
I mean, I think there's two options. You could either fine them again, or we could monitor the progress to make sure it doesn't go the other direction. So, those are my two options, but maybe someone else has another option.
Yeah, we can fine him again, but my thoughts are, if he says he can't afford to pay the $100, he won't be able to afford to pay the $200. So, but if he doesn't make progress, we can fine him again.
If it gets worse,
If it gets worse, or if it gets worse.
starts again.
Go ahead, Dwight, you were gonna say something.
So we've been living at this for 6 months.
But you have to remember what it looked like 6 months ago. I mean, there was a car dug in the back of the,
Truck. Yeah.
or a truck in the back of the yard. There was cars without tires on jacks in the front. I mean,
It's a car without an engine in
this
the
home
front.
is trying.
You have to remember also that that place looked like that 20 years ago.
Does he own the property?
His dad does. His father owns the property.
Do we know this individual?
I just know the guy that comes in, it's his son,
I
but
had him several times.
yeah. Until we had nuisance board, there wasn't any complaint filed to the nuisance board, but that property looked, those vehicles that we asked him to remove that were removed, those vehicles were there 15 or 20 years ago, because I remember driving past the property.
Wouldn't this
So-
violation have some effect on the owner of that home?
Well, the owner is his dad, is living there.
That's what I'm asking. Where does his dad come in from? He owns the property.
His dad is sick with cancer, so the boy is taking care of him
And
at
it
the
doesn't-
house.
I mean, who was the fine levied against, the homeowner?
Yeah,
The fine.
Yeah, so the
The
homeowner,
dad.
who's the dad, was who the fine was levied against. The son comes in and reports what they've done and what they can or can't do, so.
So I guess my question is, if we let this slide now, we're gonna let it slide again next month? If this picture looks just
I
like
think
it,
we need to determine that, is this something we can live with? Or is this something we need to keep pressing? Are we happy with progress they've made already, which is huge in my opinion? And
Can the board take a vote on what to go with, to pursue with it, or to leave it as is?
Right.
And
What is-
just
what is-
monitor it?
What is your suggestion?
my suggestion,
yeah,
personally, I could live with this. They've done a great job working with us.
Tim, if this was your next door neighbor, would you agree to let this slide? If this was
I
right
have to
beside
say,
you,
I probably would, yeah.
really? See, I can't do that.
Yeah.
If you look at the pictures, if you look from 7/14 to 8/18 and take a close look at the front porch, to me, it looks the same.
Probably, they're using that for storage. They said their garage is full, so they're storing their belongings out there underneath the front porch.
You know, if all the residents of Berne did this, I don't know that we can just turn a blind eye and say, well, this is okay, we'll let this one go. How many more are we gonna let go? Yeah, I don't think we can do it. I really don't. If you let one go, then you're gonna let somebody else go.
Is this rubbish or is this stuff that they own and cherish or need or?
Needs a mower.
Need the mower, yeah. Mower could be in the backyard.
Would we complain that it's in the backyard then?
I think it looks like he just mowed though.
He did.
I think we just continue to monitor this property.
If we're going to do something, we need to look in the nuisance ordinance and find specifically what they're in conflict with.
I suggest we decide what we're gonna do and let's move on.
I guess I'll make, just so we all know how the motion process works, Dave, keep us straight.
I do have a suggestion. I'm working with Kelly Amstutz on putting together a spreadsheet of local community members that are willing to possibly help with a situation like this. Can we monitor it this time? And then when I get the list, maybe put him in contact with somebody like a church group or a youth group that would be willing to go over there and possibly work on these vines in the backyard, to clean up the backyard a little bit more. The rubbish in the front, I don't know what we can do about that. You obviously can't afford a storage unit if you can't afford to pay the fine.
I think that's a good suggestion.
And I will be more than happy to put him in contact with somebody that would be willing to help him. Especially if his dad's ill and he's taking him to appointments, he probably doesn't have the time.
And I
Or he
think,
might not even have a saw.
and I think there might be some groups in town that would help in that situation.
Yeah, and we're
And I-
working on getting a group of
and I-
things.
And Kelly, on that idea, I think it's a great idea. I think that information probably needs to be reviewed with the nuisance review board, that this is information that we're going to include in future letters. So that was the one recommendation I was gonna have on that. I think it's a great idea. We've talked about NeighborLink before. NeighborLink would be a great organization to get re-invived. It was great when it started, but it could use a little, transfusion of energy. So I would be fine based on what you're saying. I'll make a motion, John, to your point, and then we can see if we can move forward. So my motion is, I would like to see us monitor the property at 306 Moon Ridge Trail for another month. Make sure that it doesn't go backwards. And at the next meeting, if we have groups that are identified that could help this owner, that we would include that information in the communication to them. So that's my motion.
Could we include getting some help at this point?
Not at this point, because there is,
Let's consider that.
Well, I can send him the NeighborLink brochure that we have in our lobby
Okay.
and send that to him and just put a handout in there telling him that we're working with
and
other
that's a good
council
point,
members to come up with a list.
John. We've done that before on a couple other
Yeah.
properties. We've
Yeah,
sent them the
no,
neighbor
let's-
link.
Let's do that now.
You know, I have a comment. If they have a lot of stuff on the porch, it's been sitting there for a year, they haven't been using it. So why wouldn't you just get rid of it if you're not using it? Sell some of it, not give them a little money, or just get rid of their junk. If they're not using it, that's just the common sense thing that they can do. Wouldn't cost them anything.
Ron,
Instead of just leave things look terrible.
let's move on with
So that's,
interjecting her suggestions.
so I will add
With your,
that point to my motion,
okay,
and that's my motion.
and I'm a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next, property is 465 North Springer Street.
It's been going on for 2 years. 2 years.
That property, has, we had had a talk with the owner, and the owner said he was going to have a fence installed as of August 18th. And that fence is not up because the fence company hasn't been down to put it up because I think they're busy. They just haven't been able to get here, is from what I understand, unless somebody else knows something. So we're still waiting on that fence, to be put up on that property. And he had stopped in and had a talk with me after he got a warning letter. And I think I mentioned this at the last meeting. He is on disability. His wife was sick or had been hurt, and was off of work for several months, and she's back to work now. And so I told him at that point in time, if he could just make his things more orderly looking, that would go a long way with our committee, just to have it look a little nicer. I don't know if he has done that totally, but that was his comments to me when he stopped in, and I told him I think the committee would just appreciate seeing an effort on your part to make things look a little more orderly and not like a mini junkyard. So I thought he understood what that meant. He sounded like he did, so. But I know the trailer, that this is his way of trying to make money since he's on disability, is to gather these items on a trailer and then take them someplace and sell them. And so that's why we see the trailer empty sometimes, and then the next week it's full again. So,
Shouldn't be a trailer on the property like that. Half the time, it's almost in the front yard. I don't know, we kicked this thing down the street for 2 years. This came up in August of 24. Here we are in August of 26, and nothing is changing.
Okay, so let me interject.
I'm ready.
We had this discussion at the last meeting when the owner was here. They've not been on the nuisance review board list for 2 years. There was a window, 6-7 months, where they addressed their first list of issues we had with them, and they were off. So we can't say that they've been on for a continuous period. They've been on for 2 periods.
At the beginning, it was the front yard, and they addressed what we said.
Right, so that got addressed, and then the second time it came up, it is the scrap, it is the trailer, it is the backyard. And at the last meeting, when the owner was here, he told us, you can read your meeting minutes, that the owner is buying, or the renter is buying the property off of them on a land contract. And the owner had come up with an agreement with them that the property owner would pay for a fence, And then he would add that to the amount that they owe on the house. And both sides were agreeable to that. And what we left the last meeting with is if they can get the fence up and, like the mayor said, make things a little more orderly, then they would address the things that are in front of us. So here we are now at this meeting, the fence isn't done. So my thought, reviewing this and getting ready for this meeting is, I think the owner and renter need to be requested to come to the next meeting and give us an update where they are 1 month from now. Because I don't know that we can take any other steps other than that today.
Good suggestion.
Okay, September the 20th of 2024, newspaper clipping, 465 Sprunger Street is addressed. Proof is in the pudding.
Right.
So aren't we a little tired of keep talking about 465 Sprunger Street? I'm tired of it. That how much longer are we gonna talk about this property and not really get to the issue? Are we just gonna keep pushing this thing down the road? I can't agree with this.
So
I
to
cannot.
Ron's point though, it was on September 24, right? That's what you just said.
September the 20th of 2024.
Okay,
It was in the Berne Tri-Weekly.
okay, then it went, but then that nuisance thing was taken care of and they were not on our list for a period of time until he started scrapping. And we had issues with the items that were back there by his, carport, right?
And you told them, put it in a fence. and
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
Okay,
So what's your suggestion, Mayor?
excuse me, John. So
I'm
This
just saying,
came up-
go ahead.
this came up on December 20 of 24. We talked about it February the 14th of 25. This is ongoing.
So,
And again on March the 21st of 25, and here we are again with this property.
so what came up in February and March?
We've talked about this
The
this many
scrapping,
times.
what came up about the property in 25, the scrapping, or was it the stuff that was in the front yard?
Probably all the above. I can't,
So
I would have to go through here. I've got it in here.
Well, I think the property first came up because of the stuff that was parked in the front yard, that he had garden tractors and stuff parked in his front yard. They took care of that, and then they were off our radar, so to speak, because they took care of that complaint form, and then there was another complaint form filed on behalf of that property with the stuff that was in the carport when he started scrapping.
I think there were several rounds.
But I don't know what the time frame.
I think there were several rounds about the front yard.
Yeah,
And each time they took care of it, but then it happened again. And so, but in the end, but now it's not the front yard, it's the
Right.
backyard. And so,
correct.
and I think what the board had told him is that if you build a fence and put everything inside there, you're gonna probably be okay. The fence hasn't gotten built. So,
So can we come to some sort of statement or conclusion at this point? To get
again, back to making motions and seeing whether there's a majority that wants to go with the motion. I hear what you're saying, Dwight. I do. This property's been discussed for a while, but
what do you suggest, Dwight?
What do I suggest?
What do you suggest?
What I would
Fine
suggest,
or what?
absolutely, you gotta go to the pocketbook. Money talks and all that other stuff walks. You know, we've talked to the owner of the property, and that owner is just, we all know it. So if this place was beside my property, I'd invite the man over a cup of coffee and let's talk about this and what are we going to do? You have to clean it up. Dave, if this place was beside your place, you would absolutely have a fit.
I'd be talking to my neighbor,
Absolutely.
see what I could help do. Yeah.
But we've talked to the owner,
The city's not in that position.
you know, and the fence isn't, that's a Band-Aid. That's all it is a Band-Aid. I don't know what the answer is here, but we gotta do something as a board. We gotta put some teeth in it.
I guess I'm still gonna go back to our last meeting when the owner was here, and we gave them in our meeting minutes the agreement that they could proceed with the fence, and then hopefully that would resolve the situation. The fence isn't there yet, so the owner's not here. I don't know why the fence isn't here yet, but I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and make a motion. My motion is that we send a letter to the owner and to the renter and request them to attend the September nuisance review board meeting with an updated plan on when the fence is gonna be in place and what they are going to do to just address any issues we would have as a board on their property. So
Second,
that's my motion.
let's move on it with a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, 866 West Van Buren. Shed has been relocated to the backyard. The letter was delivered on July 16th. Owner was to have the rubbish cleaned up by 8/17. And they've made progress on that property. From what the pictures I see, all the tires and the trash cans have been moved away from that fence. Anybody else have any comments on this property? Do we continue to monitor the property?
I think getting the shed moved was huge. I know that wasn't a nuisance review board matter. So Shannon, thanks for coordinating that effort. The tires and rubbish that are there in the 714 picture that we specifically sent them the letter on last time are gone. It's hard to see in the picture, but they're not there. The one thing I did want to ask about, is looking at this property in a little more detail last night, the trailer that's there. At one point, they had a trailer with no tires and stuff on it. I think this is it, right?
No, I think you describing that maybe.
Okay. So this trailer to me, and maybe I couldn't see it, it's not plated. It would need to be plated, right? To be legal?
Yeah.
So I would like to send them a letter like we've done to some of the other properties and thank them for their progress. But I would also like to still send I think a junk vehicle is what we would consider it because it's not licensed. Send them a junk vehicle letter and circle the trailer. And Chief Taylor, if you want to check that before we mail it to make sure my eyes aren't deceiving me, that would be the only thing I would see that they still need to do. And we're gonna be talking about other vehicles coming up in the meeting with not valid plates and things like that. So this can just be the first one on the docket. So I would make that as a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Next property is 705 High Street. A rubbish and junk letter was delivered on 7/16. Property owner was to have items removed by 7/26. And looks like most of those items are still there, so. Do we send another letter with a fine attached to it if it's not remediated in 10 days?
Well, I think on this one, back to kind of the process that we had talked about a few meetings ago and that I re-emailed to everyone yesterday or the day before. The first meeting, we discussed the complaint form, and then we send a letter, which that's happened. We're now at the second meeting. What I would suggest doing is we send another letter set, the same letter set, and this one being the second iteration, that an official warning citation be added to it so that they know that the next step is occurring. Because, I mean, in looking at these items and looking at the ordinance this morning, the vehicle that's on the ground, doesn't have an engine in it, it's just sitting there, that is definitely right spelled out in the ordinance, a junk vehicle. The white vehicle, I don't know if it's got a valid license plate or not. If it doesn't have a valid license plate, then it also comes under the junk vehicle ordinance. The red truck is, I believe, what the gentleman drives because it was not there last night. So it comes and goes. So the other two are really what I think are in question. So since they've made no progress, they've not followed up to tell us anything. We can also invite them to the next meeting if they would like to attend.
We need to send a weed letter too. Along with it, it looks like there's weeds along the cars that are sitting there.
That's fine, Mayor.
Or a kind of combination letter of sorts.
So to keep John happy, I'll be willing to make a motion to keep us moving forward. Make a motion that we send a junk vehicle, a junk and rubbish letter, and a grass and weed letter with a warning citation to the 705 High Street property. That's my motion.
Need a second?
Yeah.
You heard it.
Okay.
We'll move on.
We gotta vote yet, John.
You got going to do, John.
We gotta vote yet,
We
John.
have a motion.
You're in a hurry. Gotta go to the bathroom. It's right.
For goodness.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is,
Mayor, can I ask a real quick question? So like on 705 High Street, when we send these letters, we know that we're sending them to the owners, that they own the property. I mean, if it would be a rental situation, we would send to both. Okay. Thanks.
That would be if the utilities are going to a renter and the property owner is something different.
Right.
And it goes to both.
okay, the next item on our agenda is new properties or new complaint forms that have been sent in or dropped off. And the first one on the new property review, the first picture that we have is from it's either 256 or 266 Baltimore Street. And the initial complaint was for a vehicle in the alley. And the vehicle has been removed. Because it was the complaint form talked about a fire truck in the alley. That vehicle has been removed. However, there are two other vehicles still in the alley that need to be removed from the alley.
And
I think there's a trailer too, a car and a trailer. Yeah.
the car to the west of the fire truck, the license plate was 20,023. And as I went by yesterday, the fire truck is in the yard
Right,
in the front.
yeah.
Well, on this property, so we're talking about basically alley right-of-way stuff, right, Dave?
Yeah, you can't block a public way.
So page 4 in the nuisance ordinance talks about campers and trailers and things like that not being allowed to be parked in a public right of way for more than 24 hours in a 30-day period. So the trailers definitely, well, the trailers attached to the trucks.
And it's
Well,
been,
what you're citing though is like if it's parked on the side of the road, but people can still get through. When you completely block an alley, then operational fire trucks can't get through as well as utility workers can get
And
through.
it-
So that's what this means.
and it's been that way.
I think you can only park in an alley like that for like 15
Yeah.
minutes. It's just onloading and
Here,
offloading.
here it's being blocked. That's the issue.
It's been that way for months. And I'm a little surprised that the neighbors haven't complained. And you know some of the neighbors very well, Mayor.
We haven't had a complaint form filed, John.
That's because he's an elected official.
Well,
Well, so
I suggest sending a letter.
like
just
the
simply
official
saying,
response.
Right.
They've got so much time and
So this property, we're talking about it at the nuisance review board, but it's not nuisance ordinance specific.
Yeah.
So this isn't even, honestly, this isn't something that had to come to this board.
Yeah, it's really something that actually the police department should just take care of.
Yeah. So I think out of this, what do we want to say we're gonna do?
I can just address it.
I could just address
Pay
it.
for the weeds burning.
I'm good with that. So the police department will address this.
Okay, the next property is 466 Baltimore Street, which has been on our radar before for other
issues.
issues that they addressed by putting up a fence. And now this is a new complaint form addressing some of the other things that have shown up around the property that are of a concerning nature. So, we had, I believe, three complaint forms filed on behalf of this property. Is anybody here that wants to provide any comments on this property?
The weeds on that property are as tall as the cars. I mean,
Are they on?
I walk the streets and it's just unbelievable.
Okay, I
And
mean,
so they have two cars that obviously haven't been moved in months because the weeds have grown up all around them.
okay,
And I guess this is a little bit personal for us since we once lived in this house back in the 80s. But I hope you guys don't think the fence solved the problem. Because you still see the junk on the other side of the fence. There was even a temporary shack behind the fence where it looked like somebody might be living. I mean, this place, of all the properties in Berne, this is to me, one that's just been sitting there for several years. I can't even walk by it without getting sick. It's just,
Okay, I need to say, a couple years ago, Tammy was here and she said she said, my goodness, that property looks horrible. In Colorado, if you would have a property like that, they would fine you right away. Well, you guys made them have a bigger fence. They have, a lot of times, 7 cars, the whole front's full of cars,
In their yard.
plus they have to park in the yard. They have a trailer full of junk in the yard. But what kind of bothered me was 2 or 3 of the cars sitting on outside of the sidewalk have license plates that has been expired for 4 months. And, you know, and had weeds up 3 feet around the cars. Now, we complained over the years, but, and they did clean up a little bit, but, so what do? Do you still go past and check, or do you have to have a complaint every time? Otherwise you won't do anything about it. I mean, this is like 2 years now, it's been looking pretty bad. And, so every time they do something different, do we need to complain, or nothing will be done? It kind of bothered me. The cars that have license plates that are overdue. There's a couple of people I know really well, that have 5 kids. They moved to Berne from Fort Wayne. And she went to the grocery store and came home and drove in the driveway. And the Berne police came behind her and said, hey, your sticker is overdue. And so it was in their driveway. They brought a wrecker, moved the car away. And so you can have your car back when you get a sticker. Well, there's people in my adjoining block, there's at least 3 or 4 cars sitting out there with expired stickers, and nothing is said about it. So what's the difference between 11 years ago and now? We just don't back them up anymore, or, you know.
So Norval, I had a question. I want to interject here so that I can get your question answered. So, Chief, on a expired license plate, if it's mobile and a police person sees them, county, city, state, whatever, they would pull them over and ticket them for an expired plate.
Oh,
Driving with it.
driving, operating, yes.
If something is parked, we've had this discussion before, and I think I just want to refresh my memory, is if it's parked, you don't know whether they've got the registration renewed and it's inside, and they just haven't put the sticker on. If it's just sitting there, they're not breaking the law from a state motor vehicle perspective, right?
Correct.
But it's in a public.
But what they are, they're in conflict with the nuisance ordinance.
Yeah.
So now that this property has come up, like we've done in other properties, we're gonna need to send them a junk vehicle notice that you have to have current license plates on their cars. So that'll be the step, one of the steps we take out of this property here, so.
What I'm kind of thinking is, if you make them get a license plate, of course, you gotta have insurance. Well, that's gonna cost them a little money. So if it's sitting there and they're paying that money for a license plate, not using the car, maybe they'll get rid of it. That's my thinking.
And on this,
But if you don't
and on
do
this,
anything about it, they'll just leave it sitting there forever.
and on this property, Norval, what I'll interject, since we've had interactions with the property owner before when the fence was going up, what we were told back then is that all his vehicles are plated, he has registrations. So that's what was said back then.
Well, they were until March. Now it's
Okay.
5 months
Yeah, so
later. And
As far as we know, excuse me, there's only 3 people that live in that house. And a lot of days, there's 7 to 9 cars all around that house and in your yard. Do they need that many vehicles? And one doesn't even drive, so.
I don't think there's any law as far as the number of vehicles a person owns.
I agree, but still.
But it does need to be plated if it's on.
If
Yeah.
you make them keep up on their license plate, they might get rid of a few.
Sure.
Is my thoughts.
So on the,
And the other thing that I remember was that any kind of junk or anything needed to be inside the fence. Anything he collects needs to be inside the fence. There's a trailer outside now.
Yeah.
Full of
There is,
stuff.
they have a lot of stuff. It's right on the property line.
Does
And I was talking
the
to
owner actually live there?
one of the neighbors and they said,
Yeah, no, the owner
you
does.
know, we've
The
lived
owner
here
lives there.
for 25 years and never have had a mouse problem. Now all of a sudden we do. And all that junk and how, they can't prove it, but there may be rodents.
And I'd say from the nuisance ordinance standpoint, one of the main purposes of it is for public safety, dealing with rodents, that's what the collection of junk, the rodents issue is a big part of why
I
that
just
was.
wanted to bring it to your attention.
I just see the town of Berne becoming a salvage place for these junk dealers. Okay, make you put a fence up. You still have the properties crap, I just don't understand why we can't do something about that. I mean, if it was in other areas of Berne, like was mentioned, they wouldn't allow it. So I just don't like to see our town go downhill.
And another thing, we got a small community and we drive around. It's not Fort Wayne, we're not talking about something clear 15 miles away, but line of vision, well, it's line of vision to everybody that lives here. All you gotta do is go down the street. You can look, oh man, that's a junk place, that's a junk place. Now, we were thinking about getting a smaller house because she wouldn't have to go up steps. Well, that first house we're talking about, there's a bunch of junk. Now, am I gonna buy a house right beside a junkyard? Probably not. So it makes
Makes our property.
the line of vision means nothing in Berne, because it's in the line of vision of everybody, is what I'm saying.
But can I just say, like, if you are gonna resell and you're a neighbor and it's in your line of vision, then file a complaint. I think this is a great committee and I think it's important that we have it.
Well, that's what
That's
we're
what we
doing.
do.
Right, that's what I'm saying, you guys are doing it right, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think when we do it for our own neighborhood and we take care of our own neighborhood, it's not gonna be a big problem. But, so I think you guys are doing it right, and I think you're right to file a complaint. I don't think that everyone in the world should. Berne is not an HOA. And so preferences versus safety, I think that's why this board is important.
We've lived there since 1974 and I've never seen it as what it is now.
Well, it's pervasive. I'm just gonna tell you, it's pervasive, in my opinion. We lived there back in the 80s and it was striking, at least on the north side of Water Street in these areas. There are other places, I agree, but it is definitely different. I'll just say that. If everybody's happy with that, that's what you guys have to decide.
What do you mean on the north side of Water Street?
I'm just saying up on that area, the north side of Water Street
Is
in
what?
that neighborhood, that there are a number of homes that
Yeah.
are not kept up. That's what I'm saying.
so on
That's all.
on 466 Baltimore Street, I think we've had some good discussion. We've had input from neighbors. We've talked about some of the things that we know probably need a letter sent on. I think we definitely need to send a junk vehicle letter, which will address any vehicles that are not plated. We need to send a junk rubbish letter, which I think from the pictures, you can circle the trailer in the front yard and consider that. You can also consider the stuff along the west side of the garage to be junk and rubbish. That's on the next page of the pictures. And we can send them a weed and vegetation letter with what's there by the garage and back, and address anything on the property with that letter. So I think those three letters were appropriate to
I
send.
think too also, these people need to be fined. I mean, we've addressed this problem before, and they just continue and continue
These,
to leave their house in just a,
to these
it's
instances,
embarrassment for the whole city.
for these instances, this is the first time these items are in front of the nuisance review board. So what we talked about earlier is a complaint form is filed. The first time they get a letter saying that this is what you need to address. I think Dave brought it up at the last meeting. Due process was the term that I believe Dave used. So the due process is they get time to address their issue. If they don't have it addressed at the next meeting, they're gonna get a warning. And eventually they're gonna get fined. So unfortunately, that's the process flow that the nuisance review board has discussed and has agreed to. So that's the practice that we're adhering to right now.
And one of these times, maybe we could invite the owner to join us here at the meeting.
We usually do.
He's been here.
I put the time and date of our next meeting at the top of the letters.
The last time he was here, John, he wanted you to go to coffee with him.
That's right.
Is that right? Is that right where Trace is?
That's right, okay.
So he's been here.
Yeah, that was in the evening.
Yeah,
we had a
that's right.
meeting.
And evening meeting, so you come.
And if we get to the point after the next meeting, if he's not addressed his things, and for the next meeting, we need to do it at night, I'm okay with that. We talked about having these once in a while in the evening, so I'm okay with that.
So what do we need?
So that's my motion.
I'll second it, let's move on.
We got to vote.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next property on the list is 1335 Hendrick Street.
Okay, Benjamin,
Police delivered, let's see, clear back. Back page. Turn back.
what's the name of that street?
1335 Hendrick Street,
It's the last page.
last page.
Would you get the things over?
I'm back page.
The next one on the list of these,
Yeah, but going forward,
these were in different
I
ones.
think Kelly's given us this packet.
Is that not on yours?
It is in the back. I'm just saying, maybe if we go through the properties in the order the pictures are, since we just got
Where is this?
these complaint forms this morning, it's easier just to follow the picture flow. But let's go back to Hendrick Street.
Who owns this residence? Anybody know?
Not sure offhand, Dwight.
I think there's a couple different people on it.
Anybody have a neighbor that we could, that would help us focus where this is? Anybody know who lives nearby?
1335 Hendrick Street, if you want to know where it is in town, you go down past the girls softball diamond, keep going south, go past Emmaus Road, that cul-de-sac, all the way at the end, it's about 1 or 2 houses back from the cul-de-sac on the east, on the east side. So this, we sent them a grass and weed letter, right? Police delivered that, and a copy of the junk vehicle ordinance on July 16th. But we didn't talk about this property at the last meeting, so that this is the first time. So
Right.
I mean, they need to officially get a junk vehicle letter because several of their vehicles are not plated. You can see that. And then there's tires and other things, which I would consider junk rubbish. So I think we need to send them, well, we need to send them the letters.
We did already. Oh, this is new.
This is new. The police was taking, I think, a grass weed letter,
That's right.
but at the time, they just handed them, say, hey, this is also something. But our board
But the
never
board hadn't acted on
considered it. So this is our first. So I think we need to send those 2 letters. That would be my motion.
The grass and weed letter again too.
Does it need it? I could-
There's weeds around the vehicles.
Yeah, then send all 3 of them. So a junk vehicle letter, junk and rubbish letter, and grass and.
Weed letter.
Yeah, grass and weed letter.
Okay,
So that's my motion.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Motion.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay, I think we're at, I'll go back to the pictures and we'll try to find the complaint form later. 355 Columbia Street. There was a complaint filed for a trailer parked on the sidewalk with no license plate, so my guess is that's a police issue,
Junk vehicle.
the junk vehicle.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make that motion, send them a junk vehicle.
Okay,
I'll second
okay, we have a motion and a second to send 355 Columbia a junk vehicle letter. All in favor signify by saying aye.
it. Aye.
Both same sign. Next address is 424 Compromise, which may also be 500 North Harrison Street.
I think the complaint form was listed as 500 block of Harrison,
Yeah,
but this is the actual address is on Compromise, their mailing addresses. And I think this is the same thing. There's an RV
yeah, RV and the trailer.
that doesn't have license plates, so I think,
Well,
It has a license plate, it's expired.
Shannon says the license plates are current, so.
I went by there last night and it's got a 2027 license plate on it.
On the camper,
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
That would make this a non-issue, you know.
yeah.
I'll make the motion, move on.
The trailer, are we doing anything with the trailer though?
It says camper trailer on city property.
I
Okay,
mean, there's the
It's licensed.
and then the trailer itself,
Is the trailer, I don't know.
Non-expired.
There's a break.
Yeah.
the trailer itself is a non-expiring plate too.
Okay,
so then this is no action needed.
yeah,
Unless next month it hasn't been moved.
But you can see the plate in the picture. It's just hard to see because it's on the left side under the taillight instead of in that square.
yeah.
Because when I first drove by, I was like, there's no plate.
That's what I
I'm
looked
like,
at.
yeah, there is.
Oh, it's over there, yeah.
And it's on there.
Okay, next property is 505 North Springer Street.
So, question on this one. So it says in our packet, a towing warning letter and hedge letter were both delivered on July 16th. So that must have come from some other city entity. Where did those come from? Like the water department or?
Yeah.
So
Oh, that was, yeah,
so
the
it,
water utility department.
so is the
What the
car,
issue is they're parked over where the shut off valve is. And they were being put on the shut off list. And they've been asked to move the vehicle multiple times and they haven't.
this is, that's not a nuisance ordinance issue, is it?
No, it's a
Police.
water utility.
Water, yeah, it's not even ours.
I mean, as far as how they get the car moved, how do they get the car moved?
That would be up to the city hall probably.
I think that's why we brought it to the nuisance, because they haven't communicated to us that it's inoperable. So, which would be a junk vehicle.
Right. And the hedge right there along the alleyway, when I go to take the pictures, the mirror on the Explorer rubs the hedges because they're encroaching on the alleyway. So that's why I had a picture of the hedges
I'm
on
trying
it.
to think the hedge is probably in right away,
Yeah.
but I'm saying whose hedge is that to trim them?
Probably the cities.
It might be ours. If it's in our right away. I'd have to look at.
So you're saying they said they can't move it
Yeah.
because it's inoperable.
So we've,
It might be plated, but they said it's inoperable.
Yeah.
So that's why they brought it to
yeah. And this has happened numerous times, because I think the police have had to go there a few times
Just
to address this
I-
issue.
not to address the park car, but while they talked to the homeowner, they just wanted me to be there so it wouldn't get out of control.
I think you could go a junk vehicle letter based on their statement that it's inoperable.
The bottom right picture, is that a motorhome? Back end of a motorhome?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. You know whose motorhome that is? Here we go again.
Back to the car. So are they needing the water shut off? Or we just know that it's there and we know that it can't be inhibited?
So numerous incidents, they've been delinquent on their water bill, which has caused us to have to, because we can't shut off the water because the vehicle is on top of it. So we've had to send the water department along with a police officer to their home saying we need payment. We have sent a letter telling them it needs moved. They've come in and paid. So we dropped needing to tow the vehicle. But it was addressed to us last time we went that it was inoperable and they cannot move the vehicle. And it's been there, I think we had a picture from November of 25.
Is that
But it hasn't
Larry,
moved.
might that be Larry Sprunger's?
No, it would be the home next
It's the
to,
neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, we can send them a junk vehicle notice from this board if we want to.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's inoperable.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to send a junk vehicle letter to 505 North Sprunger Street. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, 506 Sprunger Street. Complaint was filed for rubbish and junk in the yard and trailer. This is the first complaint form we've received on this property.
and I might add, if you drove by, you would see the grass around the home would be probably 8, 10, 12 inches high too. The
It's recently mowed.
The grass was mowed last night.
It was-
Last night,
I
really?
drove by.
Okay.
It's been wet.
I guess my question on the rubbish and junk, what are we considering junk and rubbish? I know the trailer is a trailer that I believe the renter, it's a renter and a landowner, is my understanding on this property, uses that for pressure washing jobs when he gets them. There's a car and a trailer, but trailers aren't rubbish, so.
Sounds like a business. Is it zoned for a business? Or is this a residential?
I'll let Shannon and Dave answer that. I think I know the answer.
It's a rented property.
I don't have the zoning map in front of me, but I would say it's residential.
Me too.
I mean, I'm sure it's either an R1 or an R2, just off the top of my
Tim,
head.
this property is right beside your coworker to the south.
Is that a washing machine or what is that? What is that? It's
On the trailer?
Yeah.
No, it's a pressure washing.
No, he's saying in the dump truck.
Right there, what's that?
Oh,
That's empty now, is that correct, Shannon?
It's empty now.
That's empty now.
That trailer is.
Yeah, I went by last night just to look at everything that Kelly had went, so I could look, and that's 8:15 last night, and it's empty. I don't know if he got rid of stuff. I don't know. Could be in the garage, but, you know.
The vehicles north of the garage door, is that something we can deal with or?
The vehicle on the trailer? That's up to,
Is that plated?
the one that's on the trailer?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a car, you know, it's
I
right.
never went down the alley.
I mean, I think that would be the question. So if that's, whether it's on a trailer or on the ground, if it's not plated, that's an issue.
I mean, like we've done on the others, if we want to make a motion to send a junk vehicle notice based on that car, we can, but maybe the chief can check it out before we actually mail the letter and make sure that.
You can make a motion that if it's not, if he checks it out and if it's not plated, to send a junk vehicle.
I'll make a motion that we send a junk vehicle letter to the property owner and renter at 506 Sprunger Street, based on Chief Taylor's assessment of the license plate situation.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next property is a complaint on 365 North Jefferson, filed for a truck parked along Jefferson Street with outdated 2025 plates.
That truck's no longer there.
Okay,
He's on the loose.
I looked last night and this morning, it was not there after pictures were taken. So I guess in this
So he's
situation.
operating normal, he could be caught.
You have to speak up, Jan, or Kel.
He's not parked, he's on the run.
So on this, since we're not gonna meet for a month, what can we do if the vehicle comes back?
I believe Lieutenant Amstutz has talked to this gentleman,
and told them they can't park it on the street with the expired license plate. So he took care of the problem.
So you think it's been addressed?
Yeah.
Okay, so then no action at this time. If it comes up again at the next meeting, so be it.
Okay, next one is 766 North Jefferson Street. I believe this is the first time a complaint has been filed on this property for weeds and junk vehicles.
First time currently, it's been once before quite a while ago.
He moved last night.
He mowed last night. Again, some of these people haven't been able to mow because of how wet everything's been. But
And the plates are current.
plates are current. Okay.
I do see tires.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say,
Right.
with the whole West Nile, I mean, I feel like that should definitely be
That's-
addressed.
They can definitely.
if you wanna make a motion, Cal, that we send them a junk rubbish letter?
Unless you want to. I'll make a motion to send a junk rubbish letter.
That's
And you have a second,
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a
Let's put that
second.
on a recording, okay? You can use it when you need it.
We have a motion and a second to send a junk rubbish letter to 766 North Jefferson. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next one is 806 North Jefferson Street. This vehicle doesn't have a plate, and there are, I guess the complaint is only about the car and the fact that it's facing the wrong direction. So, Tim, is this something you can check out or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess my question is, shouldn't we still send a junk vehicle
I
letter?
think it'd be good.
It looks like
I'll make a motion that we send a junk vehicle letter to 806 North Jefferson Street, along with the photograph of this silver or gray car.
Is that the correct address of where this car belongs to? Because it's sitting in
I
front of their
believe so.
lot. It's sitting in front of their lot, so I wasn't
I
100%
believe
sure.
it is.
Okay.
House is already done.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, that's my motion.
Is there a second?
Yes.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That was a motion by Ron and a second by Tim. I believe.
I do have a question though. With that being parked in the wrong direction, wouldn't that be illegal? And warrant a ticket? Because this isn't the only vehicle that is parked the wrong way.
No, we've given out warnings for that before, and typically people don't park the right way then.
Okay.
Okay, next one is, 517 East Main Street. Have you heard anything from
I've
those
not
people?
had any
Shannon?
contact with him this month. Who lives at that residence?
This is the property on East Main Street we've been tracking for a while. They're the ones with the building permit, right across from Amson's Construction.
Oh,
They were gonna,
that one.
they're supposed to build a garage.
Yeah, they came to us a while back with an interpreter, and they were gonna have a garage built by what, October?
Yep.
So on this property, my question, Shannon, you haven't heard from them. So would you like to reach out to them, or do we want to request them to come to the September meeting for a
Give
status?
a report. We sent a letter in June
Right,
that just reminds them of what they're to do.
right.
And if you look at the east end of the home, you'll find they're continually adding items on the east side of their home. So I have a feeling that I'm not sure the garage can handle everything that is on that property, but anyway, we'll take it from there.
So, my opinion is that they would have it built by the fall. We're not gonna meet again until September, middle of September. I mean, if they're not started by then, it's not gonna be done in the fall. So I think we need to send them a letter and ask them to come to the September meeting and give us an update. That's my motion.
You got it.
I'll second it, yeah.
Dwight, this is Dwight.
Yeah.
Dwight got a second on the
Motion
motion.
by-
Been going a long time.
Motion by Ron and a second by Dwight. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next one is 1046 Mill Pond Road. Complaint was filed by, in reference to a trailer parked in the driveway, too close to a fire hydrant, which I believe was measured and is far enough away according to state guidelines.
Yeah, the law is 15 feet, isn't it? Correct, Greg?
Yeah,
Okay. At the time of the complaint, the trailer was about 18 inches from the fire hydrant, but so now he's, yeah,
so it was parked on the south side of the driveway then.
okay.
And we haven't been able to determine whether the fire hydrant, that ruling pertains to if you're parked on the street, blocking the fire hydrant or what. There's no definitive law that says it's parked on the street or in a driveway, but they've moved it and it's not.
I would think
Close to
just
the hydrant.
for future reference purposes, it would be good to know, the way I understand it, looking at this picture, you can't park on the street in front of the fire hydrant.
Right.
The driveway, I don't think the driveway has anything to do with the fire hydrant. I mean, I'm not chief of the fire department, but that's the way I would think that the state ordinance is set up. Curbage, because the fire department can pull up and attach even if the driveway is completely full. But again, I'm just speculating.
Didn't the complaint form also mention, line of sight backing out of his driveway? He can't see the street?
I went down and pulled into his driveway.
Yeah.
And I could see down the old Colonial Drive. So he has plenty of sight.
And
Maybe that was when it was
I was gonna say,
closer on the other
if it
side.
was closer-
It was, Tim.
Okay.
I think when
I could see that.
Yeah.
when
But
the
since
RV,
he's moved it now, you can
Right.
see.
when the RV would have been on the left side of the driveway, that would have been more of an issue. And that's where it was at one point. So I think the neighbor has listened to their neighbor
Yep.
and has tried to satisfy their
Parked on
needs.
the north side of the driveway.
So there's no action from this board on this.
Okay, then we have, I think the last one is 166 Bryan Street. I don't know if we have a complaint form for that, but
We had a neighbor that came into the lobby and this property was still kind of a monitor property, is kind of keep an eye on it. Last time it was discussed about the camper. He still is thinking that there's someone living in that camper. And he's also concerned with, I believe it's the blue vehicle. When I went and took pictures yesterday, it was parked correctly, but at times it's facing to the south on the wrong side of the street. And he is concerned about that as well. And the weeds and stuff around the fence area. The camper does have the bump out on it, out still, but you couldn't tell if there's lights on or in the evening or not.
And just a background, this camper was communicated to us that someone was living in it at one time. And then when we had reached out again, they had said that they were not living in it anymore, but remodeling it, and that's why the bump out was out. So I don't know if maybe the police can monitor activity I don't know what we do to see if someone's living in it.
I've never seen anybody come and go into the camper, of course, it's around the fence, so.
On the camper, we don't have any clue whether it's plated. So I mean, we could send a junk vehicle notice and say, show your registration. It needs to have a valid license plate. Even if it's parked on private property, it needs to be plated, right?
Yeah.
So, as a starting point, I would like to at least send them a junk vehicle notice saying that it needs to be plated.
Or proof of plate.
Yeah.
Proof of registration.
So that's my motion.
There a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the next item on the agenda is a request to change the October meeting date from October 21st to October 14th due to some conflicts during the regular scheduled week. So we're moving it up a week in October from October 21 to October 14th.
So with that in mind, if we change that date, then the letters all need to say that the properties need to be resolved before that date.
Next
It'll be
month.
the 13th.
Next month,
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, never mind. We're talking further out.
yeah. We got some time to get ready yet.
Getting ahead of myself.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move October's meeting from October 21st to October 14th. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
On that October meeting, I mean, we can decide at the next meeting. That might be one we might end up needing to do at night for a few of these individuals, so just keep that in mind. I would not be opposed to it.
Other issues?
Yes. 805 West Main Street. The pickup truck is parked on the sidewalk every day. Every day. Corner of Portland and Main.
But not all day sometimes.
Not all day, but
I know what you're saying, Dwight. I've seen
Yeah.
it there on the sidewalk, but I've also seen it in the driveway.
There's not sidewalk over a lot of what he's parking.
there is not a sidewalk.
It's,
Over some of what he's parking,
I
there's
think it's-
literally not a sidewalk.
I think
So,
it's there. I
Well,
think
that's
it's,
not his fault. He started parking there so that his kids were falling.
Yeah, the concrete is out.
I think it's,
It's up.
So,
Well,
I
that's
mean,
on-
he didn't like dump mud, I mean, like, he
Right.
didn't.
yeah, I think there's sidewalk there. It's just been covered for years.
So, I say, I've lived in that neighborhood my whole life, and that was my aunt's house, so I was there all the time. And when I was a kid, that was a mud spot. So I'm not saying there's not sidewalk, but I know that where he's parking, there's not visible sidewalk that's even being utilized. So I'm not sure if there are no kids trying to ride their bikes over there, or walk over there, or
Well, they can't because of the truck.
they can't because there's no sidewalk.
And just for kicks, I grew up in that house.
That's amazing, we both have good memories there.
I have great memories there, and I was there till I was a senior in high school, which was years ago, but there is a sidewalk there.
Well, and I think on that, from a decorum perspective, if we
Yeah.
want to discuss it, we should have a complaint form. We should officially discuss it at the next meeting.
I agree.
I turned one in with a picture.
A few
I had a
months ago,
picture of the
we
truck.
discussed it.
Yeah, so it'll be on the next agenda.
No, it's been on a few months ago.
Oh,
We,
Yeah,
Well,
we discussed it a
we
few
have
months
a
ago.
complaint form on the sidewalk issue, or the trucking part of
Well,
the
if we
sidewalk.
wanna
I can't remember
resurrect
when.
that complaint form, then
That's-
resurrect that
Yeah.
complaint form, and we'll take pictures and we'll discuss it at the next meeting and research, what Tricia's saying and what options there are. But for this board to take action, I wasn't prepared, so
Yeah.
I can't speak to it like I could the other properties.
And another item I got a call Monday night, 9:30, from a very prominent businessman in Berne. He said, what's being done with the antique mall? He said, it is deplorable.
I'm
So-
thinking, excuse me,
So last meeting, somebody was going to contact the lady that owns it in Bluffton. Did that contact been made? Has that been made?
I haven't called her, but
Okay.
I have her number, I can call her.
Yeah.
Someone told me that she was selling all of trying to get rid of all of the things that were inside, and she was selling it. And she was gonna sell it, so I don't know.
I'll call her
That's the last
and
time I
report
heard.
back at the next meeting.
Great.
yeah, a number of people have mentioned to me the condition of that building.
We
I
haven't
think
got a
it's a
complaint
beautiful
form on it though.
historical building. I wish there would be
We don't have a
somebody to
complaint form.
refurbish it, buy it and refurbish it and make it a museum.
What a complaint form on that building, everybody in Berne ought to send it in.
And say we don't have
That's
it.
a main intersection, yeah.
Yeah, we'd be interested in knowing her thoughts on the future of that building.
Well, the mayor can reach out. I still think back to what I stated at the beginning of the meeting. Our review board's job at these meetings are to review complaint forms that have been submitted and do what we did on many cases this morning, come up with a action plan of what we're going to do. So that's what this review board's job is. So
Do we really need a complaint form on that?
that's the process.
okay, so
Ooh,
It is. I mean, what else have we talked about today that there wasn't a complaint form? That's the official way, and it's not, I'm not trying to be difficult, but that's the right way to do it.
the mayor will report next month.
He can report, but then what are we gonna do?
Have to see what the plans
Okay.
are.
Are
That's
we waiting for a motion to retire this meeting?
I haven't asked for one, John, because we still have another item on the agenda called board comments.
We do.
It says board comments if you look at your paper.
How
you'll
could
see
you
it.
report that? It's not a line of sight.
Are there any board comments?
You can file a complaint with the city, or there's forms in the entryway. I'll get you one if you would like one.
Line
of sight's not official
What
yet.
I'm saying is,
So
that line of sight thing that
that has not
somebody
been,
was talking about.
yeah, that has
So-
not been,
So it's a line
adopted
of
yet.
sight to everybody that drives fast. So that, to me, that's a very silly thing
Are there any board comments?
in writing. Okay,
Hearing none, I'll
Well,
entertain a motion.
hold on.
Okay.
One board comment I did want to make, and I think everyone's aware of it. The updates to the nuisance ordinance that have been discussed at city council were discussed on August the 10th. Several of you were in attendance. That ordinance was introduced at that meeting, and it will be discussed again on Monday night, the 24th, and with potential action being taken to adopt it. So just be aware of that. And nuisance for board members, we've shared the whole ordinance with everybody, and as we said we would. So
Once it was introduced.
yeah, once it was introduced. So that was the one board comment I wanted to make.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
You have it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.